mission. I have downloaded all the softwares. I will do the setup directly in the session, so that if any issues I'm facing, we can solve in the session, and it will bring you more clarification and knowledge to set up the tool from the scratch. Okay. So these are the required softwares. Android SDK, Eclipse, we already have this, so no worries about this one. So then JUnit and TestNG frameworks we already have. Java we have. Excel we have. So jar files, I will tell you what jar files we need to download. It's we can get it very simple. So mobile devices that you need to make sure that you have by your own for practice. So then browsers we will be already having. So APM for Windows. So this can be downloaded from apm.io. And .NET Framework 3.5 or higher, you need .NET Framework just to install this APM server, but you will be not writing any .NET code and all. So then admin access to your missions, because you will connect your USB. Sometimes you might work with admin options like setting environment variables like this. So make sure that you have admin access and USB access. Then some driver softwares, let's say some mobile devices. So there are a lot of vendors in Android, right? Like Samsung, Sony, MI, like this. So sometimes when you connect the mobile device, it will directly not able to detect your mobile. So you need to install your mobile drivers. Then you need to have Node.js software because APM works on Node.js. Okay, these are the required softwares which you need to have for this session. So just download these softwares if you don't have. Do not worry now. So you can download today and get ready for tomorrow's session. We are not going to do any practical today. So we will just see mobile automation fundamentals and very basics. It's very essential before you do your automation testing. Okay. So the first topic in mobile automation testing is we'll try to focus today on introduction to APM. What is APM? Why mobile automation? Why mobile application testing is required? Forget about automation. What you need to do in mobile application testing, and how many types of mobile applications are there? So in our day-to-day life, many people use very good phones like Android, iOS, BlackBerry, something like this. So how many of you know what applications you are using in your day-to-day life? So we will see how many types of applications are there, and we will see what are the pros and cons of APM tool. So APM is a tool which is used to test your mobile applications, which is similar to Selenium. The coding structure, the architecture and all is similar to Selenium. So APM is an open source tool and used to automate native, web and hybrid applications on iOS and Android platforms. When I say platform, it is operating system of a mobile. So it is used, APM is a tool which supports iOS as well as Android. But for this session, our training is restricted only to Android because we don't have Mac machine and setup for iOS. But I will show you how to set up iOS automation for iOS iPhone automations and all. Sorry. So APM was designed to meet mobile automation needs. According to a philosophy, you should not recompile your application or modify any way before you automate it. So since you people are not from mobile automation background, I'll give a quick background what is recompilation of mobile application. Okay, So developer will develop the application. So during the development process, he will inject his own developer certificate. Let me give a pictorial representation. So now the developer is here. So he has started developing an application for, let's assume, for Android developer. So he has developed an Android application which is very good, beautiful, which serves multiple process. Okay. So the extension of your Android file is APK file. So for Windows, you will have, what is the extension of your Windows, guys? In Windows normal desktop, if you want to install any application, what is the extension of your file? It's exe file, right? So APK is the extension for your Android.apk file. For Windows, it is exe file. So now developer, traditionally the apps are built with Android SDK. So developer will download Android SDK. He will write, Android SDK uses Java as a programming language to develop the application. Now developer will write the Java code. He will build a very good user interface. The user interface is very ultimate, and once everything is done in his local machine. So this is developer local machine. Now he need to submit this app to, generally where you will download your applications. You will download it from Play Store or App Store. Yeah. So the developer needs to submit this application to Play Store. So he need to provide a valid developer certificate. So valid developer certificate in order to place this application into Play Store. Then the user, the Play Store, the Google will accept this APK file what user is giving to host on this particular Play Store, and the other users will start downloading this particular application from Play Store. So this is the process what is happening. Now, since the developer is having his own certificate to deploy in Play Store, let's assume the testing department is coming into picture here. Okay. So the testing department is coming into picture. Now the developer is giving an APK file, and he is injecting his own certificate into this particular code, and he will build APK file. Some tools, now since APM is a very good tool, and there are a lot of other commercial tools in the market which are evolved in recent years. Before that, we have tools like Robotium. So what this tool will do is, so you need to extract this APK what is available here. So once you extract this APK, you will get 3-4 folders. Then you need to remove the certificate what developer is added here. Certificate and code. So you will get, when you extract this APK file, you will get the certificate and you will get the code. So what tester was doing when he was automating Robotium application, Robotium or other old tools, so he need to extract this APK file, delete this developer certificate, this dev certificate, delete this dev certificate. Okay, then tester needs to create a new certificate. Okay, so tester will create his own certificate, and he need to inject that testing certificate with code and recompile this application. Recompile, and he will create tester APK. After recompiling, he will create tester APK file. Okay, so this is the process called recompiling or re-instrumentation or instrumentation of your application. Clear, guys? So normally in a traditional system, the developer will inject his own certificate and submit the application to Play Store or the App Store, whatever it is. If it is Android applications, the extension is .apk. Any guess for iOS application, guys? What is the extension for iOS applications? It's .ipa file. So when the developer is building .apk or .ipa files, so he will have his own certificate bundled in this APK or IPA files. Now the tester will not have complete access to the application or to identify the XPath, name, ID like that. So what tester will do? He will remove this application, delete the developer certificate, then he will create the tester certificate, recompile with the actual code what developer built, then he will create tester APK, then he will be testing this particular application for automation. Like then he will be having the capabilities to identify XPath, IDs, names and all. Okay, so this was the earlier automation what we were doing in the tools like RoboTM, Calabash, some JAMO solutions like this. Now APM is a tool which will test your application. When developer is giving some APK file, you can test this APK file as it is. So you don't need to do anything with your certificates. So you can test this APK file as it is with the help of APM automation tool. That's the process of recompiling or reinstrumentation. So just remember this, guys. Recompiling is the process of removing developer certificate and injecting tester certificate in order to gain the control over your elements, the web elements or the native elements like ID, XPath, name like that into your end build what developer is giving for automation testing. Clear? Okay. So the philosophy APM is no one should compile this application, recompile this application. So you need to use the application as it is in order to automate. So that's the main philosophy of building APM. Then the test cases in Selenium can be written in many popular languages supported like this one. So what are the programming languages Selenium supports? APM also supports all the programming languages. In fact, APM supports more languages like Node.js and other programming languages also. Okay. So then APM automates. What APM will automate? Will it automate an emulator or a simulator or a real device? Yes, it automates both emulators and real devices. For iOS device, emulator is called as simulator. For Android, the virtual device is called as simulator, and for iOS it is called as simulator. Okay. So it offers cross-platform testing. Let's say in Selenium, if you are writing driver.find element by ID and you are sending some text, okay. So when you are removing Chrome driver initialization and providing the initialization with Mozilla driver, the code will work as it is. There will be no changes, right? Correct? Agree with this point? When you are writing a single line of code here, when you're working with a single line of code, let's open any Selenium code. Yeah. So web element, we have identified this web element by name, and you are sending some keys. So you are developing your test case here. So during your initialization, when you change this Chrome driver to Mozilla driver and give the Mozilla path, will this code work as it is, guys? Yes, it works as it is. Similarly, the philosophy of APM is you need to write a code in for one platform, you should work for all the platforms. Cross-platform, like for example, if your application is having an Android, even in iOS it has same view, same elements and all, then you should the code will work as it is. So now it has no dependency on of mobile device operating system. So when you say iOS device or Android device, only changes your driver initialization will get changed as per that operating system what you are using. So you will be seeing that in our next classes, like configuring APM during you're writing the scripts for native, hybrid, and web applications. So this point I will explain in the further class, guys. Now if I explain, it doesn't make any sense until you know what is APM architecture. Now what is APM? APM automates browser as well as native and hybrid applications. We will see what are native and hybrid applications. So APM is a portable testing API for web applications. As I told, you write a code in one API like diode.find element by, and you can work with Android mobile, iOS mobile, emulator, simulator, any device like Android tablet, mobile, like that. It's portable testing. So write code once, execute for any device, just change the device configuration and capabilities. And it also supports web applications. Pure HTML and JavaScript applications will be supported, and primarily it's used for automating native hybrid web applications for testing purpose. And it is an open source and freeware, no licensing or tool cost is included. That's the beauty of APM tool. So even some commercial tools in the market are not able to do such a stability what APM is giving to users in our today's market. If you see the community of APM, it's a very huge GitHub community and APM.io community. So whenever you face any issues while working with APM, so you can directly put a query there, you'll immediately get an answer. So so that's the beauty of APM tool, and the stability of APM tool from 2014. So the APM tool was introduced late in 2013. And in 2014 the tool was not stable and lot of APIs were not available, like you cannot swipe or you cannot switch to Windows, like that. We were having a lot of limitations, but in the latest releases of APM, you see all the drawbacks are eliminated from the tool what we have seen in 2014 and 2018 now. Now, so it supports Chrome IE and Safari browser. So Chrome browser for Android it is Chrome, and for iOS it is Safari browser. And if you are using Opera mobile operating systems, you can use Opera browser. And it supports Android and iOS. Mac and Windows platform. So you can install APM in Windows, Mac machine, Linux machine, and you can work with Android as well as iOS mobile device. That's where support for iOS is available like this. And APM is a subset of Selenium WebDriver. So as I told, the code is same what you write for Selenium and APM, right? Because APM is a subset of Selenium WebDriver. You will still have Selenium WebDriver API, all the methods of WebDriver like select class, find element by ID, by clicking the element, scrolling the element, switching to iframe, switching to window, drop down. So all these operations, whatever you are writing the code in Java of Selenium, the same code will work for APM also. That's where I have kept this workspace as it is, so that we can change these particular programs to work on mobile devices. to work on the same mobile script to work in the mobile browser. Okay. So as I told, this is the philosophy of APM. You should not recompile your application or modify it in any way in order to automate it. So you know what is recompiling. So that's what removing developer certificate and injecting tester certificate to gain the access on application. So APM doesn't need you to do that. You can test your application as it is. That means you can download an application from Play Store, like Amazon is application, download it from Play Store. You can test the application as it is with your mobile devices. For Android, for iOS, still part of partial recompilation is required with APM, guys. See, there will be a lot of changes between iOS and Android. I'll keep on stressing where the changes will be there. For iOS, you will be required to recompile your applications. Means you need to remove your developer certificates and add the developer certificates because iOS is a bit tricky. Suppose if you are able to do out of 100 things, in Android you are able to do 90 things, but in iOS you will be able to do up to 40 to 50 things. So that's the difference between iOS and Android, guys. Android is a cakewalk. It's like a Selenium code what you write. Even the code is same for iOS, but you will face some issues during configuration setup. So that's why I will just advise you to have a clean observation during our APM setup. How we are setting up for Android in Windows Mission. The same setup will be there for Mac Mission as well, but only some additional softwares are required to drive your Xcode path. You need Xcode and XUI instruments for iOS. I will tell you what are Xcode and XUI instruments. So, and the second philosophy is you should not be logged to a specific language like Java or Ruby or Python. So it allows user to write in any language. Then a mobile automation framework should not reinvent a wheel. Let's say APM has came into market, okay? It should not come with a new programming language, with new syntaxes or new structure itself or new architecture itself. When it is coming like that, it takes some time for the already existing workforce to migrate from one technology to another technology or one programming language to another programming language. Since APM supports Java, you can get multiple workforce in the market to work with Java. Now APM is coming with architecture which is similar to Selenium. It's not reinventing any wheel. It is already most of the people know Selenium. The only additional features which are required for mobile configuration will be learned by that workforce, so that it will be helpful for anyone to work with a tool which is coming into the market. If you see some commercial tools like Eggplant or Eggon SDK, they have their own programming language. Their complete automation is different. They will not identify any IDs, names, XPath like this. They will cut the image. They will do image-based automation. So that's why Eggplant has very less occupancy in the market. Okay. So then a mobile automation framework should be open source in spirit and practice as well, because if it is open source, most of the people will try to adapt it because no licensing cost will be included for that particular tool. So then why actually you need to perform mobile automation testing? To get some graphical user interface bugs and functional bugs. Okay, so you need to check whether your application is working fine in a 5-inch phone, 9-inch phone, 10-inch phone, and landscape mode, portrait mode. When you consider mobile landscape, it is very high. So that's why you need to check whether your particular application, either it's a website, the website is particularly loading as per the screen size of the user or not, or if you're developing a native application like hybrid application, native application, you need to make sure that your application is working fine with different screen sizes. and the UI is loading properly or not, your functionalities is loading or not, like this. So basically, you will test graphical user interface and functional testing. So what makes your application successful? When the people or when the customers who are using your application should have a very positive interaction. They should be in a layman's term, everyone when they download the application, you should be able to immediately use the application. Let me quote an example here. Amazon application is there, right? You'll download it from the Play Store. You'll install in your mobile application. Now, let me say, if you want to book a product, you go to the YouTube or you go to the Amazon portal. You need to learn how to book a product. Then you need to come and do the same steps to book your product. Will any users try to use this particular application? No user will try to prefer like this, because it should be very user friendly. The UI what you are building should be very user friendly, so that this particular application will be used by multiple people without any training or technical knowledge. And the usability of the application should be high, and the design of your application. As I told, design is very important for your screens, for your mobile screens. So all these factors will make your application to be a success. So why do you automate for UI testing of mobile applications? Because you need to check whether particular design is up to the market, up to the standard or not. Now, if you see the eBay user interface and the Flipkart and Amazon user interface, there is some difference. Like you can feel Flipkart and Amazon are more user friendly when compared to eBay, because they have their design and the user interface, the approach what they're making to the users are very quite pretty good, because they're changing day to day, and they're coming into the mark. When you compare with eBay, so eBay is also good, but still people will prefer to use Flipkart and Amazon due to very user friendly in nature. And also the app should function properly. Let's say you have added a cart item into a cart. After adding that, when you're doing a payment, all of a sudden your cart the item in the cart will get disappear. So such type of bugs and all you should be able to properly test. And also let's say your payment button is not visible to user in a tablet, but in mobile it is available. So all these are very, very critical bugs. When the user faces such type of issues, he will immediately uninstall the application and he will never use that application. So you need to make sure that such type of issues and bugs will be properly tested before we are releasing it to market. That's why you are majorly focusing mobile testing in UI and functional testings. So shall we complete this lesson, guys? It takes 15 more minutes to complete this lesson, or do we resume tomorrow? So it's a basic introduction to mobile testing, guys. It's a generic slide. I have already shared this in Drive. You can download this material and you can check this. So shall we continue in tomorrow's session, the remaining part? Okay. So I'm getting a request that most of the people have some delivery things. Okay. So Pallavi, let's have a stop here. We will continue from tomorrow because I have got some request to stop the session. Okay. So if no queries for today's in the database in performing the CRUD operations, like updating the database from Java code, I will share this workspace, this project this property file demo database project to Drive. You can download, install MySQL in your local machine, set up, and you can let me know if you have any queries. And we will resume this